let me introduce myself. I'm Jackie Backrack, and I'm the Executive Director of the South Bay Cities Council of Governments. You cannot imagine how excited we all are that you took the time to come here and learn more about the organization. We've worked with your cities for, well, since the 1990s, late 1990s. And the Council of Governments has been expanding its services for cities since then. You're going to see a PowerPoint today. I want you to know that we'll be sending it out to you. So you don't have to take a whole lot of notes unless you want to, but the PowerPoint will be available to you. So, and is there anything else I was going to, oh, we have along the side of the wall, we have our staff, and some of them will be getting up and down. But as we get to the specific issue area, then I will introduce those staff members that are in that area of work. So why don't we go to the first slide? Let me just say the genesis of all of this was that we work with all of the department heads, or many of the department heads. We work with city clerks and park integration directors and community development directors. And I go every month to the city managers meeting. So we're very, very attuned to the top levels of the cities. But one day we said to ourselves, you know, we really want to work with everybody in this city, because maybe there's things you need from us or we need from you that would make both of our jobs easier. And so 6 months ago, we had a orientation like this, and people seem to really like it. So this is our second one. So not only I'm glad you're here, but we really want you to comment to us afterwards about if you think this is effective and are we helping you in your job? So I just realized that you can't see these things very well from here. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at what we do, how we engage with cities, how we're funded, who we work with, and what resources we have. Because we have several different departments that we're going to talk about along the way, I think we're going to stop after each one and have you ask questions so that you don't have to save your questions up. So please, this is for you. So ask any questions that you might have. Let's go to the next slide. It's very small. The Council of Governments is a government agency. We are voluntary. We can't make your city do anything, but we can we can interest you in collaboration, coordination, and cooperation. We try to do what cities can do best together than doing separately. And the genesis of councils of governments is really in transportation, where your constituents have no idea what city they live in. So we might as well work together and make the system work. So those are the kinds of things we do. And we come together to do those things. Our board of directors, I don't know if you know this, our board of directors is one council member from every city in the jurisdiction. And we also have alternates. So in some cities, every single other council member is an alternate. Can you go to the next slide? These are our revenues without talking about the Measure A tax, which will come up in a little bit later. Measure A has to do with homeless and housing. And so this is our current revenue that we are operating under, $7.8 million. And 8% of that is passed through, which means we get the money and we just give it to cities for your projects. We have other kinds of pass-through kinds of money, but it doesn't run through our own budget. So that's our revenue. Let's go to the next slide. Who we are. We go from Inglewood all the way to the port. So it's the airport to the port. We doesn't include the airport, but it does include part of the city of Los Angeles. The 105 freeway up on the northern end is pretty much our border. We do have a county unincorporated area, and Supervisor Mitchell and Supervisor Hahn do sit on our board. Okay. Now, these are the programs we're going to go through, so it's going to be sort of like a marathon, and we'll go through them one at a time, and please ask questions. So let's go to the first one, which is our South Bay Fiber Network. In 2016, we decided that Silicon Beach was moving south, and our companies might not be ready with enough fiber for economic development in the South Bay. So we started working with the South Bay Workforce Development Board, and and funded studies. And what we learned in the studies is that cities were paying an enormous amount of money for internet services, and they were getting very little for those services, very little bandwidth. So we went out with an RFP for all of the 15 cities, and we created what's called the South Bay Fiber Network. I hope you can see what it is. It's mostly leased network from Crown Castle, as it turns out. And then we paid for laterals to go to each of your city halls. So every city hall is connected. Some cities are using it as your primary, some cities are using it as your secondary, but all the cities are connected to the South Bay Fiber Network. And it's high-speed internet service, a minimum of 1 gigabit, which is a lot more than a lot of the cities were getting before, at prices that were lower, that are lower than have been. So we're very excited about it. We're the first ones to do anything like this. We did a lease network because there wasn't enough municipal fiber to do a municipal network. If we had done a municipal network like other areas, they're still doing it. Now we have had fiber since 2019. So let's go to the next slide. This is our logo for the fiber network. We're now currently meeting with other service providers to expand. We want to go to small businesses. We want to go to areas that don't have good fiber. And what we try to do is just not get rid of everybody else, but disrupt the market. And we have done that now. When cities go out to get additional fiber, the prices are much lower because we came in at a very low price. So we're trying to disrupt the market and create competition. It's really hard. Wait a minute. I can't me to see this. Okay, so we're leveraging other projects that we have, which we'll go into later. And we have won an award for this project, which we're very proud of. Let's go to the next slide. Examples of our success: we disrupted the market. The ring system that you saw, we call that a ring, even though it's not like a ring, but it's redundant. So if it breaks in one place, you can go in the other direction. So it's been very, very reliable for cities. And we've actually connected 43 locations, not only your city halls, several city parks, some police, the Regional Communications Center, the Beach Cities Health District, South Bay Workforce Investment Board, 7 of their areas. LA Public Works in Alhambra is connected to us. Metro is connected to us. And I forgot to say the most important thing was that this was free to cities, to all of your cities. We get money from Metro for transportation. And we went to Metro in 2019 and we said, you need fiber for excellent transportation. And we want to use our transportation money for this network. And after fighting for a while, we were able to do that. And so putting in this entire network was free to your city, and you're paying monthly charges now that are less. Every city's paying less than they were paying before. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, any questions on the fiber network? Because that's that presentation. We will be expanding. You might hear more about it, hopefully in the future. But right now we're running a reliable network, and that's it. Okay. So let's go to transportation, and I want to introduce Ann Tsai. Is Ann here? Ann, come on up. Ann works on transportation programs, and she'll tell you. I'm tired. I'm worried that you're going to be tired of my voice. So we're going to have different people tell you different things. So Ann will talk about the transportation program, and I will. The staff knows this. I will feel free to interrupt.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ann Tsai. I'm a transportation project coordinator here at the COG. We have a very robust transportation program. The meat and potatoes being the Measure R and M highway and transit funds. And so the COG supports a range of transportation options and initiatives that increase mobility in our subregion and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. So we facilitate city transportation projects here in the South Bay, which I will elaborate on in the next slide. We coordinate with LA Metro and Caltrans. You can think of us as the liaison between your city and LA Metro. We are promoting safe travel for micromobility vehicles via the local travel network, which I will also talk about in the next 2 slides. And then we improve public transportation services in the South Bay and work with our municipal operators, which include Torrance Transit, Beach Cities Transit, G-Trans, PV, et cetera.
I was gonna say, the way we improve it, we have a transit working group that meets and discusses how they can coordinate better. All these agencies are invited to come and talk about coordination, and then we also do some funding with our Measure R transit funds.
So if you're unfamiliar with Measure R and M, they have sent sales taxes in LA County that we help to administer. We distribute that, or we administer that funding to our member agencies, who we hold an annual call for projects when funding is sufficient, and then cities or agencies then apply for that funding through us that our board of directors approves. And there's a very wide range of projects. Traditionally, they used to be a lot of freeway improvements, your normal highway type projects, but with the passage of Measure M, they have expanded to include other things like bike and ped improvements, micromobility, and we established a transit investment program here in 2020, I believe. So our total portfolio is over 180 projects. And so the third bullet highlights some of the ITS projects. Yes, intelligent transportation system projects and other system enhancements that connect to our South Bay fiber network. And then in addition, okay, I'm gonna skip the last one. Okay, so I would say our flagship sustainable transportation project is the South Bay Local Travel Network. So many years ago, we studied the travel patterns and behaviors of people living here in the South Bay and found that 70% of trips in the South Bay are under 3 miles. So people are not traveling very far, but they're all driving, or most of them are driving. We know that transit ridership here is poor. And so as a way to capture that and to encourage people to right-size your ride, meaning choosing the mode of transportation that fits the trip that you are actually taking, we've introduced micromobility and actively promoting micromobility to residents. Micromobility includes anything as small as an e-scooter to an e-bike, all the way up to the street legal golf cart or the neighborhood electric vehicle. And so the local travel network is an infrastructure project that provides those safe streets and crossings for people to travel around, reach those local destinations using micromobility safely. And the city of El Segundo implemented this project in November of 2023. The city of Redondo Beach will be building it this fall, hopefully. And then Carson, Lomita, and Lawndale are in design.
And this also, the infrastructure improvements that are made with sub-regional funds, so that it's not at the cost of the city either. They comes through our funding. And the logo on the left is our turtle, which is, and those of you from El Segundo, hopefully you've seen the turtle because it's on El Segundo streets. What it says is this is a place that's safe to ride your bike, and it's or your local slow vehicle, and it's also a place where if you ride it, you'll be able to cross an arterial safely. So we're trying to use this as a signal for safe ways to ride slow traffic. And on the right is all of the streets of 25 miles an hour or less. So you can see that what we're trying to do is identify that you don't need to get into a big car. You just need to, you can have fun when you're going to the market to get groceries if you want to take a slow speed vehicle. Okay.
I want to mention the Carson to the Sea project gap analysis. This is a Caltrans funded project that we are actively working on. We understand that there are holes in the map. Certain parts of the South Bay, it's not safe to travel between neighborhoods without getting onto an arterial. And so what this Carson to the Sea gap analysis project will do is to study those corridors and make recommendations, design recommendations for how to accommodate micromobility safely. So some numbers here. In Measure R highway projects, we've programmed over 450 million as of today for 80 projects and over 350 million to 10 Measure R transit projects. Nearly $400 million to 90 Measure M projects. So these programs are maturing. And nearly 50 projects have been completed or are in the closeout process with Metro, including signal sync projects, intersection improvements, bicycle and pedestrian improvements, and auxiliary lanes. And those pictures that you see there, those are from the Crenshaw 182nd on-ramp for the I-405.
Also on the transportation team is Aaron Ruiz. Aaron, raise your hand. He's over at the side. He's a Civic Spark Fellow who's working with us right now. Thank you. And you know, I forgot to say two of the most important things that I meant to say. The purpose of the Council of Governments is obviously to do all this collaboration and coordination. But we have like two watchwords here that are really important in the way we do our work. One is that we want to be an extension of the staff and really not create a lot more work for you, but to try to help you with your work. And we want to add value to what you're doing. And the second thing is to look at trends. For example, the fiber network was looking at a trend in the future and helping cities be prepared for that future. So if you see something, if you ever see anything that you say, gee, my department in my area is going to need to know blankety blank, then we will try to help you get the expertise and the people that you need to know to come in and have meetings like this so that we can all learn together. And that's one of the principal functions that we do here. So I definitely wanted to say that. Now, with land use and transportation, we're looking at our strategy is very, very focused on neighborhoods and making robust and safe neighborhoods where people want to live and thrive. And so we look at the land use and how we can help cities with some of the mandates that are coming down. And we help in several, we're looking for grants actually for things like neighborhood centers. If we had, our concept of neighborhood center is to find some place in communities throughout neighborhoods where people can go not just for cooling centers or resilience or emergency, but also where they can go maybe to use a 3D printer so they can print jewelry or print face masks if we have, or shields if we ever have to do that again, or just or start a business and do these things in their local community. We're looking at how we can get microgrids from local communities. So we're always looking for, if you ever see a building or a place that you think would be good to turn into some kind of a local drop-in center, we're looking for grant money to do things like that so we can build our neighborhoods up. We're also looking at each city has their regional housing needs numbers, and we're trying to I'll cut to the chase. There's no way the city can meet the mandate. None of our cities are going to ever meet the mandates. So we don't even try to do that. That's not even on the table, but we try to help cities at least and develop housing and develop and assess their need in a way that's realistic. Later on, I'll talk about what we do and advocacy, and this is a big part of our advocacy. So I also didn't mention, but each of the slides, when you get them, you'll see that under current work, you're going to see which committees we use to work on these issues. And so we get money from SCAG, and that's Southern California Association of Governments, and they give us money to do research, and their money is to promote housing. We use their money, hopefully nobody will tell SCAG, but we use their money not necessarily to promote housing, but to figure out what works in the South Bay. And if an area doesn't work for housing, we're not going to tell you to do it. So we try to provide really decision-grade material information for our cities. And right now, at our board meeting in November, we're planning to discuss whether we want to form a housing trust. And the money we got from SCAG, we're using right now with all of our cities. We have a consultant to tell us what it means to form a housing trust, what benefits we would get, what liabilities, how it will help us provide housing in your cities for maybe lower moderate income. So that's a discussion that the board's going to have, but that the money to prepare for that came from these funds. We're also looking at mobility hubs, places where we can bring our local travel network to like the rail network or some of the regional transportation. So if you do want to get a neighborhood electric vehicle or an electric bike, you can take it to a metro station. And we want to provide the hub and make sure that those services all work together. And we have a grant to do that. And then we have another grant that allows us to look at commercial redevelopment to housing, how we're going to be taking areas, the commercial areas are not necessarily viable anymore, especially with online sales. And so we're looking at some of those areas and seeing which ones make sense for housing. We're learning a lot, parcel size is important, a lot of things we're learning, and we're sharing all of that with cities. We're also developing tools for cities so that they can do analysis by themselves. Next slide. One of the tools that we have for our cities is an ADU calculator. That's the accessory dwelling unit. If our planning departments all know about this, if somebody goes into wants to do an ADU, they can go on to this calculator if a city is involved in it. So I don't think all of our cities have it on your website, but if you have it on your website, a person can go on to the website and see what in that city are the development costs of an ADU. We also have we studied how to, the whole issue of ADUs, are they really providing lower moderate income housing? And then our commercial redevelopment into housing is developing a user-friendly tool for commercial redevelopment. And last year we did housing forums. We actually, once again, we got speakers in here and they talked about what other areas are doing and what best practices are and lessons learned. And in that arena of land use and transportation is Jake Romoff, who just came. He's our staff person that works on land use and housing, and he also works on our fiber network. I think we're ready. Next slide. Okay, now I'd like to introduce Kim Fuentes, who is our Deputy Executive Director and works on our environmental programs.
Oh. Are there any questions on land use or anything else so far? I'm turning the podium. Yeah, you can't see. So hi, I'm Kim Fuentes, as Jackie said, and I run the environmental programs. And so our environmental programs really hit the areas of residents, businesses, and public agencies. As Jackie said, we really want to serve as a resource to you. So I'd like for you to think about these programs in ways that you might want to leverage this work, or if there's something that you are currently doing in the city that you would like help with in these areas, we would love to talk to you about that and see how we can help in those areas. Also, we really work on funneling resources to South Bay. Like there is a lot of funding and programs and technical support out there. And so our job really is to make sure as much of it as possible comes to this area. So we do that. We have, what makes us a little bit different is we do have partners. So you can see there West Basin, and actually these pillars or these signs behind me are some of our partners. So we leverage our partners, which is West Basin Municipal Water District, Sanitation Districts, Water Replenishment District. We have LA City Department of Water Power. We have SoCal Gas, and actually SoCal REN, which is this one right here, encompasses the energy work. And so I think I've met with some of the staff here today to help you facilitate energy efficiency projects in your city. And we're always interested in doing that. Also, we do work with businesses. We have what we call the Green Business Assist Program, where we work with businesses for them to access these resources and the programs that are offered by our partners, as well as we do some certification. So if they want to be a green business, we try to give them help them do that through audits and things like that, giving them like aerators for their faucets to reduce water flow. And then the last thing is this program is all of these programs are free to the cities, and they are through partners contracts as well as grants. So that's how they're funded. And then the next slide. I have a cheat sheet here. So our current work is we do community events, we do public sector energy efficiency projects, and we do what I had talked about, the Green Business Assist Program. And this work, when we look at the city level and what that city involvement is, is through our energy management working group, and those are city staff that do the facility improvement. So like your building departments or your internal services department. And then we do climate action and adaptation planning. That's another group that comes together. A lot of times that's out of community development department. And then we do working groups, and of course we work with the community development directors, and then our partners, and then the next slide. I can't think this. I don't know, my eyes are not that, mine are not that good. Sort of here's some examples of our success. We actually go out to the community and we do about over 100, actually. It's over 100 events. We table it at over 100 events a year. So if you have an event at your city and you want information on these kinds of programs or on sustainability, we can come out there and do that work. We also work, like I said, with the facility staff, and we bring incentives and resources to them. And so you can see we've done several projects in that. We do facility audits where we actually go out and we identify what equipment is there and what can be done in order to enhance that or to make it more energy efficient. And then we facilitate the energy facility upgrades. We just did a big one with heat pump water heaters where the cities were able to access the heat pump water heater, which was free to most cities. And in some cities we did like 10 water heaters. And then we do climate action, energy and climate recognition programs. So we really want to promote the work that the city staff does. We bring the resources to you, but you actually are really implementing these things. And even though we want to be an extension for your staff, we do recognize that that still takes a little bit of staff time. And so we do that in an event every year. And we have a process where we actually give points for taking action and to help move these things along. And so at the end of the year, we recognize the different levels that the cities have hit. And so that's coming up actually in December. And then let's see, we also work with school districts and we promote the Kids for Kids. And that's where we work with 3rd and 4th grade classrooms, trying to teach the next generations about conservation, energy efficiency, all of those things. And what's really cute is the kids get this little kit that they take actually out into their homes, and they can do like plugs and things like that where they're saving like night lights, where they're saving energy. And then we do a little event for them. And that's okay. And then the last one is the Green Business Assist program. And then one of the big events that you probably see a lot is the Rain Barrel from West Basin. We do a big Rain Barrel giveaway. We give away like 200 rain barrels at every event, working with our partner West Basin. Okay, next slide. Oh, I'm going to stop for just a second before I go into the climate action.
And I wanted to say there's so much information, but at the end, the reason why so many staff are here is because we want to make sure that afterwards you can come and talk to us individually about any questions you have or whatever. So please know if you don't want to answer your question out with everybody, which we love, but if you don't want to, staff will be here and working with you on
right. So we have Zoran. Hi, and we have Addie. Hi. And Megan's doing communication. That's not the wrong Addie. We have the other Addie. And then we have Megan. Megan does all things, so all programs. So we're I think that's all I have. Yeah. Okay. Any questions on those programs? Oh, I didn't see you in the back, Sean and Sean. All right. Okay, climate action. So the COG has done a lot of work with climate action, working with your cities. We have done adaptation, climate action planning, greenhouse gas emission inventories, and heat resilience. And some of that current work, if you want to go ahead and go to the next slide, is working on the greenhouse gas inventories. So what we did is we worked with each of the cities and the city staff to do greenhouse gas inventories. And then we worked with you to have your city councils adopt climate action plan. So every single one of your cities has an adopted climate action plan. And that has different strategies. A lot of the programs that you hear about today are actually implementation of those climate action strategies. And the cities have done a lot of great work. We're seeing a lot of progress towards the reduction of greenhouse gases. And so what the plans themselves have a goal year of 2020. And then of course, 2020 was an odd year. And so we're working on doing updates. So we're looking at the emissions that were done in 2019 and 2020 to see if you've met your goals. And then the other piece that we're doing is working on biodiversity. We did another large plan that's a South Bay, I was gonna say it's a vulnerability assessment, but it's an adaptation plan. So it has a vulnerability assessment, which actually looks at what are your vulnerable areas within your city? Are there vulnerable populations, for example, people that maybe are working outside and are affected by heat? Or maybe it's single family households or rent burden households, for example. And so we looked at what the vulnerable populations are, and then we established resiliency measures that help them. One of those things is biodiversity. And it's important to have a healthy community. You have to look at your vegetation, insects, animal life to make sure that you're continue to be sustainable. And so we're working on putting together a hopefully a biodiversity plan for the South Bay. And then that work is done through our climate action, climate action and adaptation working group and the community development directors. And this program is actually funded through grants or contracts, but also we leverage again our partners' work so that because their strategies, right, their water conservation goes into adaptation planning. So we're able to leverage all of that. Ooh. I am not balancing this well. And then here are some of the examples of success. I talked about a lot of these already, but and then the last thing on this is as you're doing your work, a lot of cities have achieve these goals. And so we want to not only our own recognition, we want to help you get recognized in the broader community. And so our staff will work with you to fill out applications and things like that for the Beacon Award, for example. But if there are other things and you need this kind of information, we can definitely make that available to the staff and help you write that language so that you can get recognized as a city also. I think that's it. And then are there any other questions?
Okay, so thank you. So I'm sorry that it is a lot of talking at you, but you can see we do an awful lot of things. And one of our newest and biggest things is the passage of Measure A in LA County. And I have to tell you, I've been doing Council of Governments for a really long time. And one of my dreams for the Council of Governments all over LA County is that the city, there's 88 cities in LA County. And instead of the metro and LA County and everybody going to all 88 cities, why not use the organizations of cities so that we can make it easier for the regional organizations and we can help the cities not have to have all of these individual meetings. And that's happening. It's happening with Metro, and it just happened with Measure A, which is the homeless and housing sales tax that we just passed. We're very fortunate that in the wake of the money that's coming in for homeless and housing, we have a great staff, and I want to introduce our project program manager, Ronson Chu, who will tell you all about it and introduce his team.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Just very curious, how many of you guys, I'm Ronson, by the way, I'm homelessness and housing program manager. How many of you guys do not live here in the South Bay? Raise your hands. Okay, so most of you do live here. So you're not only just staff, but also constituents. For those of you who don't live here, how many of you guys don't live in LA County? Anyone? One person. Where are you commuting from?
Orange County.
Okay, you win the award for the farthest. But that's great because you guys are also constituents, and we're kicking ass in homeless services. There's more work to be done, but we are now underneath the per capita average of nationwide statistics in terms of homelessness in our cities. In fact, I kind of want to start there. David, can you skip to the success stories? Great. Yeah, I know Dulce and Michael here. Can you just wave to everyone? So there are homelessness liaisons with the city of Hawthorne. And, oh,
No.
okay. I don't want to miss anyone.
They're City of Hawthorne employees, just.
Oh, okay. But this is an example of us working together with our cities to address homelessness. Hawthorne has an access center, they have a shelter, and we partner really closely to get their 200+ people off the streets every year. And I'd like to actually invite Carson up. Joe, Terry, you guys come up, Megan.
Megan loves it.
So I wanted to share a story with this Carson team, because they did it's a great story. We're kind of new to this building. We've only been here about like 2-3 months. And Carson had this homeless individual that they helped get into our share program. We have group homes that we contract with. And so they're able to get people off the street into these group homes. And that organization called Share can actually get these folks into jobs. And so they can have self-sustaining housing. And so there's one gentleman, they got housed. They called our Share program. They were able to get him in. And then the case manager at Share, his name is Jacob, he stopped by our office one day when we just moved in. And so like he came into the office, but the security guard stopped him. And Jacob was like, "Oh no, what's going on?" He's also Black, so we're like, "Oh no, what's going on here?" But the security guard walked up to him and gave him a big hug. And it turned out that security guard, our security guard, was that person that they helped. He was homeless in Carson, and they got them into Share. He got housing, and now he has a job as our security guard. We didn't know this until that happened, and so it's just a great story of that city COG partnership. And so just want to thank you all for your hard work, and now we feel more secure that we have a great situation for help. So going back to the first slides of the social welfare, and equity. So yeah, we do homeless services. We partner with our cities. We have a new front, affordable housing. We're taking Measure A funds, the cost funds, to build and preserve affordable housing in the South Bay. This is very important, especially for our city staff that live here in the South Bay and those who don't live here, but may want to live here. We want to build more affordable housing so that people can work and live here, and build a quality of life here in the South Bay. Senior services, seniors are fastest growing demographic in the South Bay. So we want to make sure they're taken care of as well. Next slide. So how are we doing this? Through Measure A, we're now getting $3 million in home services funding that we have to divide among 16 cities. So that's not a lot of money for 16 cities, but we're able to stretch these dollars to make the most out of them. Just to give you an idea, it costs about $2 million roughly to run a small shelter. So obviously we can't single-handedly fund one shelter because that would take up most of our money. So we have to figure out ways to creatively use that funds to hire case managers, contract with beds, give hotel beds, things like that, shared housing. We're starting this new prevention service. So one of the things we've learned is the best way to tackle homelessness is to prevent homelessness. So we're now getting $6 million in Measure A funds for rental arrears. Gardena has a great program. They're able to pay for rent for some of their constituents who are struggling, and we're going to help them to supplement their funds to do that. And we have $6 million that can go into prevention. This is also eviction defense, legal services, things like that to keep people housed. And then $7 million will go to housing production, preservation, and ownership. What's happening is that there is naturally occurring affordable housing. So these are like apartment complexes that are owned by mom and pops. They're slowly being bought out by the hedge funds, and then they jack up the rents once that happens. And so what we want to do is intervene before the hedge funds buy the properties, and so that we can keep the rents affordable. Next slide. So yeah, this with the money, like what I was saying earlier, we're trying to stretch our funds. So we have a bunch of programs now that we can help your constituents, prevent or get off the streets. We have client aid, which has an 87% success rate. So these are things like we pay for bus tickets, security deposits, just whatever the client needs. to kind of get off the streets. We have time limit subsidies to pay for rent. We have, again, all this prevention stuff. We can now, for example, pay for dependent care. So if someone needs to go find a job, but they have kids at home, we can maybe help them with a babysitter so that they can go on job interviews. We're doing legal services. We're also doing justice impacted legal services, something I'm very passionate about. A lot of our homeless individuals have a bench warrant for like unpaid loitering tickets or jaywalking tickets. And so we can expunge those so they can clear background checks and credit reports so that they can get back on their feet, get a job, get housing. We provide case management, we fund that for our cities and also interim housing stays. Next slide. And then affordable housing. This is really new for us. We are probably going to go to our steering board with a strategy in the coming months. But the idea is that using Measure A funds, we will provide direct project investments in partnership with our cities and their chosen developers to build more affordable housing in the South Bay. We want to preserve multifamily housing rentals, and also we're looking at creating an ownership product for first-time home buyers. So more on that stuff to come. Next slide. And then, as I mentioned, we have achieved functional zero in one of our cities, Redondo Beach, which they can get for every person that falls into homelessness, they can get another person out. And their duration on the street is less than 90 days. So that's kind of the goals that we set for our cities. We have 3 other cities currently enrolled in our functional zero program. And then we're looking to enroll more as we can get more funding and help to monitor this program. But since 2022, using our client aid, we've housed over 450 individuals. We have 87% success rate. Through our shared housing program, we've housed 153 people, including that security guard. About 101 of them have become employed the last 2 years. And then some of our other success stories. We've helped our school districts. We see a lot of families in our schools that are homeless. Great story in Torrance, a mother of 3 had had a house fire, they were displaced. And so now they are just now exiting our time limited subsidy program. So that's great. And we try to talk about all other school districts as well. And so I think that's it. Oh, so yeah, so this is the Hawthorne Access Center. Great spot. This is where Dulce does her magic. This is a Project Moonkey, which was a Project Home Key site in Redondo Beach that opened last year. So yeah, just some of the things that we do. And then Senior Citizen Working Group. So we have a working group. Right now, we're talking about emergency preparedness, mobility issues, in-home services, and we're always looking for ways to make our cities more age-friendly. So those are some of the topics that we talk about in our working group. Is there anything else? I think
Routine.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and can't introduce my team. So Addie is, she is our program manager for homeless services. Kevin is helping me with housing. He's our project coordinator for housing. And yeah.
I mean, Kathy's not here, but she's our care coordinator in case.
Any questions specifically for Ronson right now? Okay, thank you. You can tell our team is passionate because we work with a lot of people that are passionate, like the Hawthorne and Carson people that are here today. And we really appreciate the collaborations that we have. So now we're really into the nuts and bolts of, what sits on the skeleton of our organization. Let's go to the next slide. We do advocacy for the cities and for regional issues. One of the biggest things we advocate for is local control and against some of the mandates that the states come down with. So even if they might work in our area, which most of them don't, it's people who elect their council members to make those decisions. So we write housing papers about the fact that cities won't be able to meet their RENA requirements. We contact we meet with legislators. We have a legislative briefing once a quarter where we actually invite legislators, and if they can't come, they send staff for us to share current issues. And we also advocate for things like the local travel network. If you can write down a Tesla, then you can write down somebody who wants to buy a very expensive electric bike or a neighborhood electric vehicle, which is a much safer environmental way to travel. So we'd like, and it would fit state goals better. So these are all the things we look at taking our program and congestion, it says congestion reduction, you know, the toll lanes on the freeway. We don't get involved in it other than two ways. One is we have information here on the transponders and those kinds of things. We don't pass them out. But also the law says that money is supposed to come back to the communities where this money is collected from. And so we try to get that money back here for some of our city projects, and we're going to try it. And there have been city funded projects with that money. So we work on those kinds of things. Let's go to the next slide. Communications and marketing, we have Colleen Farrell here. Carolyn, are you still here? I saw her walk in. Okay, Colleen is our communications person, and she works with Megan over there, who's a Civic Spark Fellow. And we have to get the message out. We have a lot to do. And so we do it through social media, e-newsletters, printed newsletters, and other things. We have our printed newsletter over on the side. If you want to take a look, we're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and X. So that's some of our communications and marketing. Next slide. Our website, we hope you'll use our website because everything I just told you is on the website or should be. And when you go to the website, you can learn about who's on our board of directors, which one of your council members is on our board of directors that you might want to talk to if you want to tell us something through them. Who we are, our governing board, committees, all the agendas are there. And on the front page of the, you scroll down our front page, there's a calendar, so you can get the agendas right off of the calendar. Job postings, for any of you that, one of our cities, Rancho Palos Verdes, always sends us their job posting, and we post any jobs that our cities will send us if you want to ever send us job postings. We hope that when we send you a job posting, you will do the same. And we have we've got our programs or media, so the regular things, but I think from all the things we said today, this might be a resource for you that you might want to think about using on a regular basis when you want to know something about us. And we also have a way to reach staff. There's a staff page. We're extremely proud of our volunteer program, and Zoran over there works on the volunteer program with someone who's not here, Martha Segovia. We've had volunteers since 2008. When Kim says we do over 100 community events a year, there's no way we're going to be doing that by ourselves. So we have people who really want to get involved in environmental issues, in improving their community, in just making the world a better place. We just talked to a volunteer earlier who said that that's what she was doing. The volunteers help us with the community events, and they also help us with data and office work, that, you know, collecting things, making phone calls, and we're really proud of them and the fact that we continually get excellent people to come help us. If you know somebody who is looking for that kind of thing, we'd love you to move them our way. And they become champions for all that we do. And one of the reasons why so many people have never heard of the Council of Governments is that we really don't want the publicity. We want those people to say, oh, I live in the city of blankety blank and they're doing all of these great things. So we want the publicity to fall on you so that people know that we're working together and we're making the whole South Bay better by working together. Next slide. Collaboration are the three places that we ask your board members to go are our board of directors, our steering committee, which is like our executive committee, and our transportation committee. And those are the three committees we have for elected officials. They can attend anything else, and they do. We have all of these other working groups, and the AI forum series, which is the first one, is brand new. We're having our first meeting next week. And I want to point it out because the other thing we do is if there's a hot issue coming up and somebody wants to learn about it, we'll form, if it's enough people are interested, we'll form a working group and we'll have meetings until nobody wants to hear about it anymore. And for example, we had for a year, we had meetings on short-term rentals, how they work, what works, what cities do that has worked, what cities do that hasn't worked, which is always as informative as what works. And after about a year, people said, okay, I think we've learned enough, and that's it. And they went on and they had the tools. We had a year-long meeting, a little over a year, on coyotes, because cities were so concerned about coyotes. Why should you all bring in speakers separately? We brought in all these from the state to do those things. So now, we had a social media working group years ago when nobody knew what social media was and how you're supposed to use it. So we did that. Now we're having an AI working group because we think cities are in sort of that same place where we all know it's coming. We all know we're all using it in some way, but maybe we should learn more together about how to use it wisely and how to protect ourselves from it as well. So that's the AI working group, which we're just starting. And then I mentioned we meet with all the department heads, which are on there. Kim mentioned some of these other groups. Our infrastructure working group is for public works directors. They actually have an agenda. These others usually don't have an agenda. They are just for networking, to come and learn what we're doing, not what we're doing, what each of the cities are doing. And share good ideas and things that have worked and things that haven't. But the infrastructure working group does all of the recommendations to the board on a lot of the public works projects like our Measure M and Measure R. And they're a very busy group that we really rely on. And I think that I've mentioned probably all the others. So let's go to the next slide. Kim mentioned our partners, and once again, these are the partners that we have. And when we say partners, they do give us funding. So when we look at I don't know if it on the first chart it said it, but about 8 to 10% of our revenue comes from dues. Cities do pay dues, but we couldn't do all of the things we do on dues. These are our funders primarily. Next slide. And then it's hard to see this, but these are all the agencies we work with. And I wanted to mention that there are 7 councils of governments in Los Angeles County, and every one of them is different and reflects the cities that they're in. And we're the 3rd largest one. And so it's been extremely helpful, for example, in homeless issues, for example, we meet on a regular basis to talk about what's happening in San Gabriel Valley and what we could do here that maybe steal from them or borrow from them, or how we can help each other. So we're very close to our councils of governments. And then all these other agencies, which I think you'll have to look at separately and ask any questions if you'd like. Next slide. This is the kind of things we do, and I wanted to highlight because we have a very busy now till the end of the year. And our board meets the 4th Thursday of the month at 6 o'clock. We start at 5:30 with a light dinner. We meet in this room. And this particular board meeting tomorrow night, we're going to be talking about the viability of the housing trust. We're not going to vote on it. We're just going to ask questions so that we're ready to vote on it. And then we also have a Waymo speaker coming, once again, helping cities prepare for the future. October 29th, we're very excited about this. If you haven't heard about it, this is working with our SoCal REN and other agencies. There are certified businesses that do things like air conditioning and lighting. And so we're bringing them all into this room. They'll have tables, and it'll be like a showcase where you can come and talk to actual vendors that have been certified on projects that you might have in your city.
And there's flyers over by the sign-in sheet.
Oh, and there's flyers by the sign-in sheet. We're very excited about this. We've never done this before, and I don't think the vendors have ever done this before. So we're crossing our fingers, but we think that if we can bring everybody together, we can help you save time in trying to figure out the kinds of things you need and whether what you're looking at is possible or not in the budget you have. October 30th, we have a Go See trip to the LA County Ballot Processing Center. The Registrar of Voters has offered us the opportunity to go see how they count the ballots so that we can all be really feeling good about the fact that our ballots in LA County are safe and secure for not only county election, state, national, and local elections. So we're offering that, and we have a good sign-up list from our city clerks for sure, but also elected officials will be going to that as well. And then AI Forum Series is next week. On November 20th, somebody mentioned we moved into this office in July. We weren't here before. So we're having an open house on November 20th for people that would like to come back and just see all that our offices are actually upstairs. And so we'll have all of that open. And then once a year, November being Thanksgiving month, so every November we have a recognition opportunity for our volunteers to thank them for all the work they do. So that happens at our November 20th meeting. December 11th is the luncheon that Kim mentioned, where we're gonna we invite all of our cities to come. The energy people and the city managers come and the elected officials come, and we reward ourselves and recognize ourselves for, and promote all the work that the cities have been doing throughout the year for energy efficiency and climate work. And then we have, one of our members has offered, one of our board members has actually offered to do a cybersecurity forum in January, which we're gonna have, and he's bringing with him some people from the FBI. So that'll be interesting as well. And that's just a snapshot of the kinds of things we do. So I thought it would be important to show you. Next slide. Our big event of the year, I don't know if hopefully you've heard of it, but every March, the fourth Thursday in March, we do not have a board meeting. We have a general assembly. And every year it's different, and we try very hard to apply it to the South Bay. We get about 350 to 400 people. You are part of them. And this year we're going to try to focus on what the sports and entertainment means to the South Bay, what it's doing to the work you do, how it's going to affect all of us as we get ready for all of the Olympics. So it's not just another, hopefully it's not going to be another, the Olympics are coming. It's going to be how the South Bay should be getting ready for all of these things. We're looking for a location, which we hope to have in the next 2 weeks. And it's about 9 to 3. There'll be speakers, exhibits. And the nice part about it is we get sponsors, and we are it's free to the people that attend. So we hope that you'll share the day with us on March 26th. Please save the date. Next slide. So the last slide is, you can't come to a presentation without somebody saying what we want from you. And what we want from you is to share. We want to know what you're doing. We want to know how we can help you, the projects that you're starting, so that maybe we can say, well, this city's doing it. Oh, did you know that city's doing it? So we can help with collaborations, that we can help with services and resources. So we hope you'll use us as a resource for you. We would like you to participate in our working groups. We understand everybody's way too busy, but if you can, even just read the agendas and see if you want to come to some of our meetings. I just said there were no agendas. See, but read the dates of the meetings, see if you can come, because I think you'll be, not only will you be learning things yourself, but you'll be very helpful to others who will learn from you. Providing us feedback on all of our programs, the things you see, are we doing it right? Have you heard somebody in your city say something negative that we're doing or that we could help you with? Invite us to come to your meetings. When you have a community event, we love to table it there and talk about some of these programs. So remember us when you're having an event, or if there's a meeting. We've been to environmental commissions, for example, to talk to them about the programs that we're doing. So invite us, work with us. And then something that you just should know is if you have a grant that you're doing that really is going to be helpful to everybody, making your city better, which makes the South Bay better, let us know. We'll send a letter of support if you'd like it. And then we will ask you also, when we have a grant, for letters of support if it would be helpful to our grant. So we want to make anything we can do collectively to make us all stronger. We want to do that. We want to help you do that. So I think the next slide, is the end. Let's go to the very last slide. And this is our thank you. And all the places you can reach us. As I said, we're going to be sending you these slides, and we have refreshments in the bag. Are there any general questions, or do you want to just break and talk to us individually? General questions. We hope that you found this valuable. And we really, and if you did, tell the people that aren't here in your department, because we're going to do this again in 6 months, so they can come back and see it themselves. But thank you so much, and please stop. We've got everybody. Oh, I didn't introduce everybody. David Legere is our administrative person, and not only does he run the the projector, but he does a little bit of everything, and is one of those people that you can't live without. And then who else? Did I miss anybody? In the back, I think we got everybody here. Oh, Rosemary is here. Rosemary helps us work on our General Assembly sponsorships. So thank you so much. You can't imagine how happy we are that you're here. And please have some more refreshments. We can't eat them ourselves. And stop and ask people questions.